I mentioned this game in many of my videos. I have more than 100 hours clocked in on it, despite it being only a single player game that's 15 hours long. It's one of my top 10 games of all time. I bought a poor quality webcam for it. Is this working? It's time I talk about it. Playing Bioshock Infinite for the first time was... I honestly don't know what to say or how to describe it. There's so many words to use here. Unforgettable, magnificent, amazing, stunning, memorable, astonishing, beautiful, pretty much any overwhelmingly positive word one can use to describe something. The game was unlike anything that I've ever experienced up to that point, so you can kinda imagine that I have a bit of a connection with the game, just a little bit. Let me paint a picture here so you can see my perspective. 10th of February 2016. It was a Wednesday night, just a couple of hours before midnight, and I had school the next day, and my policy with my parents was basically to not stay awake after 12. They weren't the most strict parents, as you can tell, but we still had rules. Shocky Boy Infinite has been on my wishlist for a long time now. I've been immensely interested in this game for a while, the eye-catcher for me being its unique and distinctive visuals and settings. This incredible mix of steampunk with early 900s America, World War I. It's futuristic but somehow feels very much in line and not too distant. Clockworky, a flying city in the early 20th century. It was a vibe that I never knew I needed until I saw it. The figures in this game were also a big appeal for me. I always thought that the idea of having a gun in one hand and another tool or ability in the other is so cool, which is also a big reason why I'm such a big fan of Dishonored.
May all the spirits guide you, and may our enemy's head hit the floor without you taking...
And the skylines. Being able to air assassinate people like this... This is just something that I find extremely descriptive of what I like in a game. So now that I established what I like about it, let's go back to that picture I was painting. It's around 9 PM and my eyes land on that beautiful, capitalistic, green beacon of joy. BEEE 11, my beloved. Bioshock Infinite at 80% off. Would you make that deal? I'd make that deal, that's a damn good deal. And so I rushed into the living room. I remember my dad being crashed on the family couch, watching TV and eating expired fruit or something. I don't know, just doing that things. So I immediately went into the point. Please take me to the game store. Please, I'm begging you. I know it's far, but a game I was waiting for ages is on sale right now. I told him it's not gonna be on sale tomorrow. I lied. I promised that I would focus on my studies. Again, a lie. Of course I was expecting a no. I said my parents weren't strict, but it was late. Plus, my dad looked real comfy on that couch. I didn't think he would get up. What happened instead is that he slowly turned his head towards me, looked at me like this for 5 seconds, and then he said, okay, but let's be quick because it's late. I want to give a shout out to all the dads that bought video games for their children. You made them extremely the R word, and... That's my train of thoughts. Anyways, shoutouts to dads.
Welcome. Don't spill shit on the computers.
Don't be an idiot! You should have run away!
When I got back, my siblings had already turned off the lights in our room and gone to sleep. The only thing that lit the room was the laptop screen, shining on all of us. I quickly entered the code, bought the game, started downloading, and oh god, it's 10. I have to sleep at 12, and my internet is very slow. I eagerly waited for that download to be done, fast walking around the house like a psychopath, biting my nails, counting every minute gone by and calculating exactly when the download will be finished. It's 11 PM. The game is installed. I have 1 hour to play Bioshock Infinite. It's enough.
5. Count to 4.
No.
3. 2. 1. Attention. Attention.
Just stay calm.
5,000 feet. 10,000 feet. 15,000 feet. Hallelujah.
I think if anybody killed me there, I would have been fine with it. Arriving in Colombia and walking its streets for myself instead of watching everything from a trailer, it was heaven on earth. I wasn't in a dark apartment sitting on a plastic chair with a shitty Intel HD laptop. I was in a beautiful, happy, colorful city in the sky. It's filled with racist people, sure, but I didn't know that by then.
Are you gonna throw it? Or are are you taking your coffee black these days?
Spent that entire hour just staring at this beautiful, beautiful world in complete awe of what I'm seeing. Participating in the carnival games, checking out every small detail, listening to NPCs talk and go about their days. The art direction, my lord, the art direction exceeded all my expectations. Listening to God Only Knows, it was beautiful. Didn't even talk about the setup beforehand because the arrival in Colombia is just that memorable. But it's not the only good part about this introduction. The player doesn't begin the game inside a bright and warm flying city. You start on a boat in a cold, rainy night with two strangers dropping you off to a lighthouse. They say a lot of vague stuff about rowing, but obviously none of it makes sense. Yet. You arrive at the lighthouse and the atmosphere here is unmatched. I mean, if we just talk about the rain alone, look at that rain, that shit looks so good you just wanna lick it off the port. However, visuals and finger-looking good rain aside, this segment actually serves as a great first impression for the game, which I will awkwardly transition into talking about. Approaching the door, you find a message threatening that this is your last chance. Bring us a girl and wipe away the debt. Our protagonist, Booker DeWitt, is a gambler. He lost a lot of money and now he owes dangerous people that no one wants to be in debt to. His task is to simply find this girl named Elizabeth and bring her to New York in order to settle those debts. Opening the door, you see a bowl of water ahead of you which you can interact with to see the reflection of yourself. I never really understood why I liked that they showed our character here, but while replaying the game for this video, I came to understand that it's supposed to show the player that Booker is not a silent protagonist that you insert yourself into. This is a real character with a real personality that you're playing as. Going up to the second floor, we hear this song playing, The Old Time Religion, a hint towards the themes that Colombia follows. We see a map showing the size of the city as compared to the US, and we find a telephone with no signal on the other side. This whole area reeks of something wrong going on. It hints that Colombia is ironically not a heavenly place, and it terrified me the first time around. Then as the player steps to the third floor, we see a guy who was shot with a message on him to set an example, basically signaling to the player once more that this could be our fate if we were to fail this mission. Stakes, consequences, quietness, foreshadowing, tension, a peaceful yet haunting sense of solitude. Those are the things that this lighthouse oozes, and it is honestly a vibe. At the top of the lighthouse lies 3 bells, which when you ring you hear this loud Judgment Day horn going off, while the sky turns red with every blow. A chair opens up, you sit down, get locked in, lose your gun, panic, fear, dread, and then relief, enlightenment, beauty. This is the beginning of Bioshock Infinite. I'm sure you understand by now why I love this game so much. It means a lot to me from just this small opening. So much so in fact that I would probably not be making videos if not for that 1 hour with the game. Sure, I've always loved video games before, played them ever since I was a kid and have created countless memories doing so. But to me that introduction of Bioshock Infinite was the eye-opener to how amazing this medium is. Then there's the rest of the game. If you think I'm overpraising the start of it, wait until you hear my opinion on the entire thing. That complicated, intriguing story, the plot twist at the end, the fantastic gameplay, which I think I'm the only one on the planet who thinks it's actually very good and underappreciated. The soundtrack on this thing, and the elephant in the room, Elizabeth and Booker's relationship. These two characters are so well written and their interactions are such a good time. Even 10 years later, Courtney Draper as Elizabeth remains to be one of the best video game performances I've ever seen. The list goes on, and there's so much to talk about regarding this one game, and it disappoints me to see the hate it gets nowadays. People downplay so many of its features and they overlook the wonders of it, and it's only eye candy, only impressive for the first 2 hours. The combat is not good, the whole story is not good. Look, the game has flaws. A title that's narrative revolves around quantum physics, multi-dimensions, and enough political topics is bound to create plot holes. But that doesn't render it unplayable or bad, or even close to that. This year, Across the Spider-Verse came out and saw indescribable praise. It's among the top 10 highest rated movies of all time on Letterboxd, and almost everyone agrees it deserves it, including me. But if you dig deep enough, I'm sure you will find flaws, because it is about multi-dimensions. These two different pieces of media actually have a lot in common, but one of them is unfortunately getting the cold shoulder these days. Bioshock Infinite's gameplay isn't good. I hear this from people who even enjoy the game. Well, how about I make it fun for you? The best defense is a good offense. I'll explain. Did you know that you can cancel the animation of a vigor by switching to another one and using it along with it, leading to some incredibly fun, devastating combo-based combat? All you have to do is quickly use a vigor, press E to switch, and immediately throw the other one. Oh, and put all your points into salts. You don't need a shield. This isn't Halo.
Greetings!
Did you also know that you can utilize the quick switch between weapons to skip some of their animations as well? Combine that with the 2 vigors at a time thing, choose only hard mode, and use the skyline system as much as you can, and there you go. You got yourself an incredible, proper, fun first-person shooter experience. It's different from 1 and 2. There's no immersive sim elements, and the vest thing does prevent you from creating consistent builds. But as a semi-fast-paced FPS, the combat is damn good. So you enjoy it that way. I made this video basically as a self-expression. I adore this game and I wanted to talk about it from a personal standpoint to show how much it means to me. But a small part of me also made it with the intention of maybe convincing some of you that don't like it to actually give it another shot. Maybe by hearing out a different perspective from someone who's actually a fan, you would change your mind. I don't know. I understand that it's very different from Bioshock 1 and 2, but honestly, in my book, that's a good thing. If we would have gotten a third game in Rapture, people would have probably gotten sick of it, myself included. And look, we all know how mind-blowing Bioshock Infinite looked in that E3 2012 showcase. I myself am one of those people who would like that game to come true. I've made a video on that topic exactly. Don't watch it, by the way. It's very bad, please. But holding on to the thought of it could have been and it should have been and only if, while an interesting topic to discuss, it won't lead anywhere. And it's only distracting you from an otherwise fantastic experience. No one should disregard the idea that we still got a really great game. Plus, you never know, the version we got might have been the superior one. So to end this video, I just want to say the most generic thing. Form your own opinion. Stop taking opinions from people who are on YouTube just saying that this game is a masterpiece, or this game sucks, or you should kill. Just don't go out of your way to say something is objectively bad or objectively good. There's just no such thing as objectively bad or good when it comes to video games. Bioshock Infinite means a lot to me, not because it's a perfect game, but because everything about it just aligns with me as a person and my taste. And with all that said, I bid you farewell, and I thank you for watching.